the world knows Steph can't play defense. Steph can't guard. I'm 38, haven't played a decent game of basketball in probably 18 years. So I was 20. Steph would have trouble guarding me.
So here we are again with another narrative about Steph Curry. I've been meaning to do this video for a while, but I don't know, I just never got to it. If you know anything about me or this channel, then you'll know that I've already made videos about just flat out false narratives in the past. But this is one of the more popular ones, like up there with no finals MVPs. But Steph Curry being a bad defender is just one of those where, you know, there's a certain amount of truth to it, but at the same time it's just not the case with how he's improved as a defender in the last few seasons. And so today, we're going to be talking about Steph Curry's defense, and we're going to be determining whether he can actually defend NBA players. Hint hint, he can. But before we begin, if you're new here, I'm Double D. I'm a huge basketball fan and I make NBA videos here on YouTube. So if you're also an NBA fan, or just a basketball fan in general, feel free to hit the sub button and click the bell to be notified when I upload more videos just like this one. Alright, let's get into the video.
Defensively, sometimes, and this is what people have to understand about the sport of basketball. Sometimes it's not just about circumstances, it's not just about personalities. When you are elite offensively, you don't necessarily prioritize defense in most instances because you know you can outscore most people that you're going to go up against. You know you can amp it up, you can turn it up a notch. When we think about the greatness of MJ, when we think about the greatness of the Kobes of the world and others, they didn't do that. They showed up on both ends of the floor during the prime times of their career.
Now, let's get one thing out of the way right now. Me saying that Steph Curry is a decent defender is not me saying that he can defend anyone in the league or shut them down. Like, let's not twist this too much. Steph Curry is a pretty decent defender for his size, and given how much he's improved in the last few seasons, this argument is pretty outdated, would I guess be the right word. Because back in around 2014 and 15, yes, he was a pretty bad defender, I will say that. But he's improved. In defensive statistics, he's actually near the top of the league in certain categories. In the last 4 seasons, so from 2015 to 2019, Steph Curry ranked top 10 in defensive win shares, top 6 in defensive rating, and 13th in defensive plus-minus among point guards. And that's not all. Steph Curry consistently ranks top 20 in the league for deflections, and in the 2016-17 season actually ranked 11th in the league. He's found himself in the top 25 nearly every season in steals, and actually led the league in steals back in 2016. And on top of all this, Steph Curry is only the 3rd guard in NBA history to record 3 or more blocks in multiple finals games. He had 3 blocks in Game 5 of the 2016 finals, and 3 blocks in Game 4 of the 2018 finals. So overall, you can see he's been pretty good when it comes to defensive stats, but of course, you can only tell so much from stats. And so we're going to be breaking down some of his defensive possessions, but it's going to be split into 2 parts. We're going to be looking at one-on-one defense, and then we're going to be looking at team defense, which is personally what I think he's best at. So right now we're seeing some of Steph Curry's best defensive plays over the last few seasons. And another thing that I didn't mention before, which you can see here, is just how often he's able to strip the ball on the way up. And if not that, then at least get a hand on it. And I'm sure playing with Andre Iguodala all these years has had something to do with that. But one thing I never truly noticed about him on defense is just how smart he actually is and how well he can shade the player to where he wants them. So on this possession, he's one-on-one with Jamal Crawford, who's, you know, a pretty shifty player. So we can see that Steph is waiting for him to make his move before he commits. And also, Jamal Crawford isn't really a threat from all the way out here, so he can sag off a little. But now with him making it clear that he wants to go to his left, he's able to use Harrison Barnes over here to get him to go back to his right. And now he has him, because, I mean, what are you really going to do here? Because you have Harrison Barnes on one wing and Shaun Livingston on the other. But the reason this isn't in the team defense part of the video is because Steph Curry actually ends up getting this stop on his own, with a pretty good contest on the shot. So this next play is actually pretty good awareness by Steph and just knowing the team that you're playing. So he's out here on an island with Harden, and Harden does some moves and starts to get by him. But Curry is still shading him towards Iguodala to help on the drive. And so Curry, knowing that Iggy has him, immediately rotates over to Clint Capella to cut off a potential pass. I mean, you saw them do this all the time. And that's exactly what ends up happening, and Curry gets the steal. Alright, so this possession is actually, in my opinion, the perfect way to defend Kyrie Irving, or really any other offensive weapon like him. So Kyrie comes across half court, and Curry picks him up. He starts to get beat, so Draymond Green leaves Al Horford to cut off a Kyrie Irving drive. This allows Steph to get back in front of Kyrie since he's obviously not going to take that in. So Kyrie gets rid of it, and now Draymond can rotate back over to Horford, who isn't going to pump fake because he knows that Draymond isn't going to leave his feet. So we can see Terry Rozier acts like he's coming over to set a screen, which occupies Curry's attention for just a split second to give Kyrie a run to the rim, and a handoff layup from Al Horford. But Sean Livingston comes over and doubles him so he can't make that pass. And now we just see really good ball denial from Steph Curry until Kyrie goes back out. Omri Caspian knocks the ball away and Tatum recovers it, but now Kyrie is 35 feet away with no time left. So he has no choice but to shoot a tough shot over two defenders. And this was a great defensive possession, both for Steph Curry and the Warriors team as a whole. So this next possession shows just how high Curry's defensive IQ actually is. So here, Steph Curry is in the post on Marcus Smart, and Draymond comes over to help and knocks the ball away. Smart recovers it, but now finds himself with Draymond on him instead of Curry. And so Iguodala is out of position now because he thought the Warriors had a steal. This allows Al Horford to make a cut in towards the basket, and with this, Steph Curry is now in perfect position for this play. Because with Draymond down under the basket, if Smart goes to him, Draymond can recover, and he can't go out here since that would get picked off by Klay Thompson. And so he tries to make a pass back to Morris, where Steph is waiting the whole time, and it's a steal. But these aren't the only plays that you're going to see in this video, because Golden State as a whole is just extremely smart with what they do with Curry on certain possessions. And what do I mean by this? Let me show you. So the plays I just showed were a form of team defense, but also just Steph Curry's individual IQ in effect. But these next plays will show just how great the Warriors are on defense and how well they use Curry to their advantage. So on this play we can see that Harden is out here with KD on him, and what they want to do is get a switch to have Steph Curry on him. And you saw them do this a lot last playoffs, and so Daniel House comes up to set the screen, and at first they don't get what they want since Steph did a pretty good job of hedging, which is basically when the defender leaves their off-ball matchup to cut off the person with the ball. And so we can see that here. But Daniel House comes over and screens again, and now this time we can see that they end up getting what they want. But there's only 3 seconds left on the shot clock. And now here's where we can see the overall IQ of Golden State. Because Harden is out here with nowhere to go, KD leaves House and comes to double Harden with 2 seconds left, leaving him no choice but to either shoot a double team shot or make a pass. But we can see that Draymond is sitting halfway between both PJ Tucker and Daniel House, so he can easily rotate. And we can also see that Klay Thompson is now in between PJ Tucker and CP3 for the same reason. And now with this setup, Houston has absolutely nowhere to go and nothing to do. Shot clock violation. But now here's where Curry and the Warriors really excelled in this series. Because now we're going to be talking about pre-switching. So this is a heads up play by Curry because he knows that Eric Gordon is going to screen for Harden to get Curry switched onto him. So Steph calls for Klay to switch onto him before he gets there. And so now Harden obviously doesn't want Klay Thompson switched onto him since he's an all-NBA level defender. And so... Alright. Okay. And so... okay. And so, when Harden waves Gordon off, they switch back. And so now we can see that Houston tries again to get Gordon in the pick and roll, but they do the same thing, this time with Kevin Durant. And throughout the rest of the play, we can see the Warriors constantly switching and preventing that pick and roll from happening. And so now, the Warriors have wasted so much of Houston's shot clock that James Harden now has no choice but to go one-on-one with Iguodala. And even though he makes the shot, this is still a great play by Golden State. How about we switch to a different series? So, in this last clip, we can see that Steph is out on Westbrook, and what they're trying to do is get him switched on to KD. So, he comes up and sets a screen on Curry, but both Harrison Barnes and Steph decide to stay with KD to pick off the pass. And so he does make it, but now KD is double teamed, and since Westbrook isn't the best 3-point shooter this season, we can see Curry staying out here to cut off another potential pass. And so Westbrook makes a pass into the corner, and Draymond rotates over. Win for Golden State. Now, the different types of plays that I showed might look similar, because yes, I know that Steph Curry isn't the greatest one-on-one defender, but he's not as bad as some people make him out to be. I mean, against someone like James Harden, you can't really hold that against him if he gets scored on, because, I mean, great offense is going to beat you every time no matter what you do, and he's a great offensive player. And so the best thing you can do is what I showed in this video, which is try to stop them from getting to that point, because if you can waste their time by doing that, then you've already won. But with all this being said, Steph Curry is not a bad defender, and I hope this is the last narrative about him that I have to talk about on this channel. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Subscribe if you're new, hit the bell to be notified when I upload, comment down below what you want to see next, And as always, I'll see you guys in the next one.